More than 1,000 firearms and over 14,000 rounds of ammunition have been surrendered to police stations in the first month of an amnesty. People illegally in possession of firearms have been encouraged to hand them over in the next 5 months without fear of prosecution. Vishnu Naidu is the spokesperson for the National Police Commission, and he joins us on the line now for more on this. Vishnu, thank you so much for joining us on Christmas Eve. I'm sure you and your teams have a lot on their plates as they head into a busy night, so we thank you for your time. So the first of 6 months of amnesty, what is your view? Has it been a good month in terms of the numbers of firearms you've had returned to you?
Very good evening, Marcel, and thank you for this opportunity, and a very happy New Year's Eve to you, not Christmas. Yes, it's been a very good month for us for the first month of this amnesty, the 6-month amnesty period. Given that, it's been, most of the month has been a festive period, we're very encouraged by the fact that people have taken time off to hand in 1,465 firearms, which are inclusive of handguns, that's pistols and pistols and revolvers, as well as rifles and shotguns, as well as over 14,000 rounds of ammunition, which for us is very, very significant. I think we are off to a very good start of this amnesty period, and we are confident that in the next coming 5 months, many more people will come forward and hand over the unwanted and illegal firearms to our various designated police stations.
I'm quite fascinated by the split in the types of firearms that people are handing in. Over 1,200 handguns, 75 shotguns, and 142 rifles. According to the research, obviously, that you have at your disposal, which of those types of firearms should you be getting more of as people decide to take advantage of this amnesty? What's out there?
Well, remember, we had over 400,000 firearm license holders of firearms that have not renewed in terms of Section 24 of the Firearm Control Act, which of course has deemed them to be illegally in possession of the firearms in terms of Section 28, meaning that the firearm licenses have been terminated purely because they haven't taken the opportunity to renew. So that's about 400,000 firearms that we are hoping people are going to take advantage of this amnesty period to either hand them in as unwanted firearms, or hand them in as unwanted firearms for destruction, or hand them in and use this amnesty period as an opportunity to renew their licenses for those particular firearms.
No.
Then what we're focusing on more is the illegal firearms. People that are in possession of firearms illegally, of course, obviously, if they have not used those firearms to commit any crimes, then they would not be prosecuted when handing over those firearms. If we find anyone who hands any of those firearms, illegal firearms, even those firearms that have been terminated in terms of their licenses have been terminated in terms of the Firearm Control Act, we find that those firearms were used in the commission of a crime, they cannot be exonerated from prosecution.
Now, we're told that the SAPS has made adequate provision for the safekeeping of all firearms handed in. Obviously, also, some people are handing them in, wanting them to be destroyed. How do you go about ensuring to people, in terms of issues around trust, that when they do hand in a firearm, under the various reasons that they can hand them over, that those firearms will indeed be kept safe? Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a story of the SANDF base in Pretoria that was broken into, which is also supposed to be extremely safe. The people will be asking questions about how much they can trust that promise from the SAPS that guns handed over will be destroyed and or kept safe.
Well, we have went through various processes of interrogation, if I may put it that way, or of interrogating the processes, if I may put it that way, to ensure that we satisfied the nation that we have put measures in place to safeguard those firearms. In every one of the 9 provinces, we have a central holding facility, so meaning that police stations are not going to keep the firearms longer than they are expected to. So as soon as firearms are handed in, as soon as 24 to 36 hours, those firearms must be taken to that central place, and all designated firearm officers that are responsible for receiving of those firearms have been vetted. Those that are responsible for the safeguarding of those firearms at those central points in the 9 provinces have also been vetted. So we have gone through gone through various stringent measures to ensure that the entire process is absolutely secure and legitimate, so that we don't have a situation where firearms go missing. You'll recall on the 5th of November this year, we destroyed over 5,000 firearms by having them smelted at a steel company. And as soon as we know that the proper auditing processes have been finalized and we have enough firearms to have them smelted, then we will go through that smelting process to make sure that those firearms never find their way back into society again, because we know that crimes that are being committed, particularly serious crimes, are being committed as firearm being the preferred choice of weapon in the commission of those serious crimes.
Thank you so much for your time. We have to leave it there. National Police Commissioner spokesperson Vishnu Naidu.